Hi YouTubers, I guess today I wanted to talk about the differences between FTMs and MTFs, and I suppose that in a public place, having an FTM person, I mean, a lot of people wouldn't realise that they were FTM because you know, it's fashion for, like, it's more socially accepted for a woman to wear man's clothes than for a man to wear women's clothes. I think that, I mean, I'm all for men who are, you know, into cross-dressing and stuff like that. I think it's brilliant, but society has a very narrow-minded view on these things, and it's not fair, I don't think, because it must be horrible for them to have to face all this shit as well as, you know, what people are telling them. Hang on a second. Yeah. As well as what people are telling them, like their families and stuff. I mean, you hear a lot of transgendered families throw their kids out, and I think that there's not much support for them, really. And yeah, families should be more supportive of their transgender child, because I mean, a lot of it is misunderstanding, you know, the actual meaning of the word transgender, whereas, say, you know, you might bring yourself to explain to your family that you think that you're in the wrong body, and then they carry on calling you by the name they've always called you, you know, the pronoun, the he and the she that they've always called you, because I think they feel a great sense of losing the person they thought they know, and they get quite scared by that. But what they don't realise is that you've always been the person you are. You're still the same person, except, you know, you've chosen to let them into this part of your life and explain that, you know, what's going on in here isn't always the same as, you know, what's going on outside. And I mean, I've been thinking for the past couple of days, you know, with transgenders today, we're so lucky to have been born in a time where, although it's not, you know, socially recommended or, you know, any of this stuff, it's more accepted than if we had been born 50, 60 years ago. You know, because in those days it was probably a punishable offence. I know that it was punishable to be gay. I presume that being, you know, transgender, cross-dressing, any of that was also considered to be a punishable offence. So, in a way, we are lucky to have been born in a time where people can do things, they can take hormones, they can dress the gender that they feel they should have been born, rather than what your genitals tell you are. Whereas, I always get asked what it feels like, and I don't know if any other trans people get this, but it feels like you're wearing someone else's clothes. When you're clothed, I don't, you know, notice that much, because I do my best to hide it. You know, I've trained myself to hide, you know, bodily consciousness and things like that. But when you look at yourself naked in the mirror, you look at, it's as if you're wearing someone else's sort of clothes, really, someone else's body. And it can be a bit weird at times, you know, to consider that you're not as you should have been. One thing that intrigues me is intersex people, like XXY. If they feel more like a woman or more like a man, then are doctors more likely to give them hormones than for a genetic, say a genetic female, like me, goes to a doctor and says, you know, give me hormones, give me testosterone, I want to be a guy. I know my voice already sounds sort of like I've been on tea, but I haven't yet, so I'm hoping to in a few years. I thought it's very scary, because transitioning from one gender to another isn't as simple as it sounds. It's a very complex process, and it's very emotional, and it entails a lot more than it can seem to a person who's happy with their body. So, it's, you have to use the bathrooms of, your transitional gender. You have to socialise as your transitional gender. You have to possibly explain to people who question you, I am transsexual. And by doing that, you're endangering their trust, you're endangering your friendships. And this is why a lot of people don't come out, I think, because they're scared of what their friends will say. They're scared that they'll end up with no friends. Whereas, in my case, I've never really been very close to my friends, but in a way, if I was to explain to them how I was feeling, I think that they might, what's the word? It would sort out who my real friends were, if you get what I mean. Whereas the ones who, I don't know, who say, that's fine, that's who you are, then they still want to be your friend, and they try and understand, even if they don't. I appreciate the fact that they might not understand, but as long as they make the effort to accept you for your decision, I think it's brilliant. But yeah, there will always be the friends who don't accept, and they feel threatened by the fact that you are changing. It's like the family issue again, where they feel that you've changed even when you're the same person, but you've decided to come out to them. So it is a difficult journey. So yeah. If any of you want to speak to me on MySpace, my address is Antohney. It should be spelled at the top of this post, how to spell Antohney. And that's my MySpace address. So if you want to drop me a line, add me, whatever, I'll be glad to talk to anyone who wants support, who wants advice, or who can advise me. So I'll speak to you guys later. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching. I'll catch up with you later.